Welcome and welcome back, everybody, to the OK Grognard Show. Today is Monday, June 12, 2023, 10 a.m. Central in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. And we are on the other side of a second Sunday, which was yesterday. So I thought I'd do a recap of that. Let me also say that the next couple of weeks are going to be kind of flip-floppy because July, we shut down production for the month for our summer hiatus. And usually we do a state of the show just prior to shutting down. But because of the way the regular first edition D&D campaign falls this month, I won't be able to do a state of the campaign until the 26th, which means that next week I'll do a first half of 2023, the OK Grognard Show, looking back and looking forward to the next half of the year. And then the following week, just before we go on hiatus, on the 26th, 2 weeks from now, we'll do a state of the first edition campaign and talk about that. And then we'll be on hiatus all through July. And I should also mention, because of the way the calendar falls, with the 31st being a Monday, instead of being off for 4 Mondays in a row, as we normally are in July, we'll be off for 5 Mondays. So no shows the 3rd of July, the 10th, the 17th, the 24th, or the 31st. We'll talk about that more next week, but for now, it's enough to say that that is what is up. So, Sarah, oh yeah, how did it go? You had a lot of players. Well, you were board gaming. You were probably listening in a little bit, hearing the many cries of despair in the other room. Sorry you missed the game too, George. Sunday gets real busy a lot of places. We're adults. There are always things intruding on our lives. It's tough to make time for gaming, and we do it when we can, but there's no shame in taking care of business and being a responsible person and doing what you got to do. So don't sweat it. Hopefully, one of these days you'll make it. And make it indeed to Second Sunday. That's the second Sunday of every month, and that includes next month. And next month, that second Sunday falls on the 9th of July. And from 12:30 to 4:30, we have an open first edition AD&D game at Lake Geneva Games. There's also a 5 o'clock regular campaign of first edition / Osric that Ken Haylock runs, and there are always a couple of seats available in that too. So if you wanted to play in the evening, 5 to 9, when the store closes, that's fine too. But the open game, I have pre-generated characters. You can just come and grab one and play. Some have been claimed now by several people. Laura, who plays in Ken's game, and Ken, who came in early to play in mine, uh, were two of the players, along with two of my regular campaign players, Colin and Wendy. Paul joined us. Paul's been threatening to join us for about a year in one game or another, and things always intrude on his schedule as well. And Stephanie and her daughter Alexandria both played and were a delight to have at the table. So, goodness gracious, did we have fun? The the campaign is such that players from my regular, or the game is such that players from my regular campaign can just jump in That's why I keep it at mid-level, so it's at a right level. And then what I run for the open game has to be something that can be like a side quest for the people that join from my regular campaign, something that doesn't take them too far afield, so that when we next get back to the regular campaign, they can always have just been there and explained they were gone for a few hours, a day, a few days, while everybody else kept moving. Some way of hand waving it so it fits with the regular campaign. Or, I could say that it was something that happened before they joined the regular group, and just, depending on how it turns out, I have to explain it away one way or another. And it's actually not as difficult as some people might have you believe, because at the end of the day, whatever you say goes. It's the same thing when someone says my character wouldn't do that. No, your character will do whatever you want your character to do. What you're saying is you're not going to do it. Not that you wouldn't, not that you couldn't, not that you won't after we have this discussion. You're saying you will not at the time do it, and that's a choice you're making. Um, this is one of the reasons why when I run regular campaigns, I do not. I stayed up front. I'm not running a game for 7 loners with a dark past who can't work with a team. You are creating a character who is going to be part of a team. So make that character part of the team. I'm not running 2 separate games at the same table and dividing the time. I'm running for one group for as much time as we have to actually play the game, and that's how that goes. So if you're going to be an obstacle to the rest of the group, don't expect they have to play with you. If the rest of the group decides, hey, we're not traveling with this character anymore, and if you want to dig in your heels and say, well, that's my character, okay, you don't have to play. That's just how that goes. So, keeping all that in mind when I run a campaign and I say I'm doing a sort of a sidetrack and I'll work it in, I'll work it in. The rest of the group in the regular campaign is continuing on their journey. We'll hand wave a couple few days of it as it turns out. Those characters, those 2 that played, the ranger and the cleric, that joined this side quest, will then come and rejoin the group heading north. They have a tale to tell, some treasure to share. I don't know, they earned it. It's their own treasure. And they have some additional goods that they can also bring up to where they're going. And perhaps use that added wealth to enhance their own standing or that of the party. So there you go. It was a lot of fun. There were 7 players. They had a good time. A couple went down, but not for the count. They were able to get back up through healing and other whatnots. And there you go. Just a little dealing with some brigands at the ruins of a keep, and then visiting a lumber camp and hearing about a barrow, a tomb that was nearby, which they then decided they would infiltrate. They had a tough time. It was tough going. It was touch and go. They could have died. A spirit naga is nothing to fool around with. Didn't get any spells off. I generally don't use death poison. So poison is a paralytic, which is fine because how do you keep your food fresh? Well, you don't kill it right away. You just disable it until it's time to eat. So often when I have things like spirit nagas who have poison, I just decide that their poison is going to paralyze. And if the rest of the group winds up going down and everybody's paralyzed and poisoned or killed otherwise, well, then you're all gone. It's a TPK. But if the group manages to prevail, then they can help those who were paralyzed snap out of it after it wears off. And that's exactly what happened. So I think we're getting close to time here. So let us just say second Sunday, the OSR at LGG, Lake Geneva Games, was a lot of fun. We'll do it again on July 9th. I'll have extra pre-gen characters for people that want to show up. We had 7 players this time. Doesn't mean everybody that played is going to show up for the next one. It also doesn't mean that I can't run with a few more players. So feel free to come on out and join us, and we'll have some fun and do it upright. It's a good time playing first edition. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons in Lake Geneva, the birthplace. Have a great summer, Mark, says George. I have the date marked. It would be good if you can make it out. Yeah, Sarah says I prefer paralysis to death for sure. Absolutely. I mean, you're still out of the fight. You can still lose it as a group, but why not give everyone a chance? We don't have to be so bloodthirsty. Or maybe we do next time. Anyway, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I will say that this has been the OK Grognard Show. We've been talking about doing a recap of Second Sunday, the OSR at Lake Geneva Games, and it was a lot of fun. Please do join us next time. The show streams live on Twitch each Monday at 10 a.m. Central. Then it's archived on YouTube. Follow, subscribe, like, all the other good stuff. It all is appreciated. Our thanks to our Patreon supporters as well. Tom Tullis of Fat Dragon Games, Carlos Slicing of Castle Entertainment, Heath Farndon of the NABD and D20, Dave O'Brien of Four Quacks Games, and as always, Shane Bradley, DM Extraordinaire. This has been the OK Grognard Show from beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Bye-bye.